You know, not all creepy crawlies are all that bad. Hello everybody, Tia Guillotine here, and welcome to my review of the Transformers Legacy Evolution Shrapnel. And I didn't even have to pay scalper prices for him. Can you believe it? I sure can't. And if you would like to know more about the journey of me getting him, and if you'd like to see me unbox this figure, there's a video on my channel that, and I will link it in the description down below, where you can see me unbox him as well as Legacy Evolution Core Class Swoop. But with that being said, let's jump into the review of our next Insecticon, which I was honestly beginning to think I wasn't even going to be able to get because I was not willing to pay scalper prices for this guy, but I was able to, but I happily found him at Target, and I'm glad I did because I wouldn't have got him if I hadn't found him at Target, and he is fantastic. Let's get into the review, starting off with the head sculpt. It's great. I think the head sculpt looks absolutely awesome. I love the vibrant red for the visor, nice silver for the face right there. You do have the Gaines Workshop gray right there, but I don't think it's too bad. And then you get to the torso here, and it's this very vibrant jet black. It looks awesome. Just look how much it stands out amongst like everything else. It's so glossy and nice looking. See, watch this. Take this piece of paper. Look at that black. How much it just jumps out at you. Super, super nice looking. That didn't work as good as I was hoping it would, but I think you get the point. It's a very, very nice looking figure. Got some nice blue right there at the top of the torso. Beautiful purple and black on the arms right there. Coming down here, that Games Workshop gray again, but I don't think it's too bad again. Some nice gold picked out for this. Absolutely awesome. And then on the back, absolutely no kibble whatsoever. These things right here, I think these things look perfectly fine on the back right there. You do have some hollowness back there, but that is for the transformation. There is some hollowness in the arms right there, and that's not excusable in my opinion. I definitely could have used a door right there, and I mean, for modern deluxe class price point, I don't understand why they couldn't give us a little door right there for that, but it is what it is. Now, talking about build quality on this thing, it is absolutely on point. The plastic quality in this thing is absolutely phenomenal. To do a couple comparisons, wanted to start off with Minerva here, because if you saw my Minerva review, I said that her plastic quality was very weak, and when you compare these two figures, yes, you definitely feel a very, very big weight difference right there. I also wanted to try the Hot Shot right here as well. These feel about the same, which is awesome because I love that Hot Shot figure. How about this Prime RC, another one that's kind of a little bit less quality. Again, definitely feels heavier, and also the plastic just feels very dense and solid on him. Like, really, really nice, especially like this torso plastic right here. This just feels really, really high quality, really premium, and really excellent, man. I love it. And then in the joint tolerances department, absolutely zero problems whatsoever. There is no, wow, I'm actually surprised those legs actually do flop if you give him a good enough shake. You can see that, but honestly, that is actually very surprising to me because like he's not loose whatsoever. Look, I'm holding him by his legs right here. Not loose whatsoever. That's kind of crazy. Look at that. If you give him a good shake, I was not expecting those legs to flop like that, but it's so weird because they're not loose whatsoever. Like if you hold him, the legs are not loose, but if you give him a flop, that's interesting. That's very interesting. That's the first time I've ever seen that before, but the legs feel great. Do not let that discourage you for this figure. The legs feel great, and all the joints just feel great. The waist in particular is obscenely tight. It is a really, really tight waist right here. Like you can see, I showed in my Minerva review that you could spin her around by the arm with only your pinky. With this guy, I bet I could do this for freaking ages. Look at this. Look at this. That leg is going to come off of the mushroom joint before his waist moves right there. That is absolutely gorgeous. And the head is only on a swivel, not on a ball joint, but it's very tight, which honestly I actually think is a bit of a detriment because it's very hard to get in there because of the way his head is placed in between like the pincers in this, but you can kind of get in there and swivel it a little bit right there. Now, one thing I do want to talk about this guy that's not that's just a minor tiny little negative, just the minorest little negative in the world, and honestly you shouldn't really even take this as a negative towards the figure because it is accurate to his design, but his torso is very, very broad and very squished, so it makes looking him look badass a little bit difficult. Like, he oftentimes looks like he's just a little bit too, like, stretched out in the torso right here. Like, if you try to put him in, like, a pointing and shooting pose, it just doesn't look quite as badass as it does with, like, almost every other Transformer, just because of how, like, squished and weird his torso is. I don't know. It's just something that I noticed while posing him, so I wanted to point it out briefly in this review. Now, talking about articulation, he does have over 90-degree bends right here at the elbow, which I just absolutely love, and we do also have a gorgeous angle pivot right here, and you can also use it to, you can also get some downward with it as well. You can't get any upward movement, but you can get a little bit of downward movement right there, but that is really, really, really nice. You only need to get 90-degree bends right here, although I wonder if you could untransform this a little bit. Yeah, you could. No, it doesn't really look like. Nah, you can't. You can't get any. You can't get anything above 90 degree right there. But I personally think that is perfectly fine. And you could move the pincers right here as well for the transformation, so you could change that up a little bit. But I really do like the way that they look, kind of just like splayed out. But if it's like taking up too much space in your shelf, you could totally like combine them together like that if you want to. So also an option, and I do believe that is it for the articulation. But once again, the embrace waist swivel as well. I mean, I already went over that multiple times. But yeah, articulation is solid, above average, especially in like the elbow department right there. Looks really, really cool. Plastic quality is on point. Let's talk about some accessories, and he definitely has a good thing in his department. I definitely want to get her off of the window before she turns fucking yellow. Ooh, that was not a good idea. So first off, we get his G1 gun right here, which is looking absolutely fantastic. Well, he fell off of he fell on the floor right now, but honestly I ain't even worried because this thing is just made out of such dense high quality plastic. I ain't even worried. I will say he doesn't have any heels, so he is a little bit weird to stand up, but not too bad. He still stands up really, really great. And then here is your G1 accurate gun. So you have some nice silver paint right there, and then the purple peeking out right there, just to show this compared to Kickback's gun right here, so you can see the comparison. Shrapnel is the leader of the Insecticons, so it does make sense for him to have the bigger gun right there. We'll see. I'll show you some comparisons with him and Kickback in the comparison segment, obviously. But I like this gun quite a bit. It is a little bit hollow in the bottom here, but not a huge deal, and it does look pretty awesome in his hand right there. And it does have a blast effect port right there, and it also has a thing in the back right there. So if you wanted to, you could plug a blast effect coming out as well as like some kind of cool little effect piece right there. Or you can also combine, oops, you can also combine it with your other guns right there. I will say, ever since getting my Legacy Metal Hawk, I really love it when Transformers who have their wrist flip out for the transformation like click in, and this guy doesn't have that. So definitely I was a little bit disappointed by that. But he also has these cute little purple guns right here as well. And I actually really like these fun little pistols. These are super duper cool. It would have been really cool if you could store them on his leg right there, although there's not really enough space right there, so I can't really be too mad. But these are these do kind of play a part in his alt mode, but they're not 100% required. But I will talk about that more later in the video. But I do think they do make some pretty cool guns, and you can have him dual wielding right there, which is really cool. And if you want to, you can also plug this into the back right there. It's a little bit loose in there, but it does look kind of cool. This is his Evo Fusion gimmick. If you bring it in right here, and you plug that in right there, and then you can plug the other gun underneath here, and you can get this big ass like double rifle right there. It's a little bit goofy looking, but I think it's not too horrible of an Evo Fusion gimmick. And then for weapon storage, you have tons of options right here. You have some ports on the back. I like to plug this gun right here. I like to plug this gun like that on the back, and then you could plug these in there as well, obviously. But I like to leave these on the arms right here, and I just like to have them facing this way personally, because of this is the same spot they're going to be when you transform them into bug mode, so you don't have to parts form them if you don't want to, and you can still have those in the bug mode, which makes his bug mode a little bit better. So I like having those there, but you could also store them, obviously you can store them right there, or you could also store them back here on the legs as well if you would prefer that. So you have that, but I like all of the accessories, and I think the accessories really help make you feel like you're getting a good bang for your buck right here. Personally, I think he's worthy of the deluxe price point. I mean, I like the accessories that they included, and the plastic quality is so great. He just feels so dense and high quality and nice, and the paint works great as well. So I personally think the deluxe class price point is fair for this guy. I definitely spoke too soon in that whole like deluxes aren't worth it anymore thing I went on a couple of months ago, because pretty much every deluxe I've gotten recently, except for like Minerva, has definitely felt like it was way, way, way better, like way more worth the price. And even Minerva to some extent. I know I gave her a pretty negative review, but I like her. I gave her a negative review because she objectively deserves a negative review, but I honestly do like that figure quite a bit, just subjectively. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters with Transformers. If you like the figure, then it's an awesome figure. If you don't like it, then it's not a great figure. Comparison, first off, of course, we ain't wasting any time. There he is with Kickback, so we've got 2 down and 1 to go. Very, very lovely. They look great together, but I will say something later on in the video about these guys that I did want to point out, but they do look very, very cool together. It's great that we're finally getting some Insecticons right here, some really nice, like, deluxe class Insecticons. These are great. I love that they're giving all these mini-bots, like, the deluxe class treatment. It's wonderful. It really is wonderful. So, yeah, there you have that. And then here he is with my most recent review, the Legacy Minerva right there. And to see how he compares with some other Legacy Evolution Deluxes, there he is with Prowl, there he is with the Origin Jazz, and here he is with the Armada Hotshot. So we can see how he looks with some other Legacy Evolution Deluxes, looking absolutely fantastic. I am so glad I did not abandon Deluxes after all, because these are all pretty solid and fun figures. So there you go. And once again, like, the plastic quality on all these guys is just on point, man. This Legacy Evolution line has just been doing really great with its plastic quality, and I could not be happier about it. Also, let me say another thing. One problem that I have with Transformers is that I found if you don't constantly pick them up off the shelf and mess with them, and you leave them on the shelf for too long, they get kind of sticky. And that has happened here with my Warpad right here. And it's also happened with my Studio Series 86 Grimlock and a bunch of other figures. But all of these 4 Legacy Evolution Deluxes right here, none of these have gotten sticky. They are all absolutely wonderful. I never even touched this thing, okay? His arms are a tiny bit sticky, but overall, he still feels nice and good. And Origin Jazz, I haven't picked him up in quite a while, but he does not feel sticky at all. And even Kickback right here, really nice, pleasant feeling, no stickiness whatsoever. So I don't know what that's about, but whatever they're making these figures out of, the plastic they're making out of, it's nice and it doesn't get all dusty and sticky, which I really appreciate. I am willing to pay for figures like this, Hasbro. Well done. Transformation, y'all better pay attention. This is a complicated one. So you want to flip the fist in, and if you keep these on, you want to rotate them around like that. Rotate around, bring those out to the side. You want to cover his face with the shield right there. Bring his little pincers up like that. Rotate him at the waist. Take that gun off the back right there. Rotate him at the waist. Open up these little panels right here on his leg. Fold his feet down. Then you want to ratchet these in, and they will kind of fold up. And then you have a tab right there that'll go into a slot right there. And I do recommend doing these legs separately because it is a little bit easier in my opinion. So fold that in, bring that in, tab that in. It's just easier to get them in to the tabs, and then combine them together just like that. And then the hardest part, fold that in and tab them in to the sides of the legs, just like that. Ooh, real tough, right? Real tough. I know, hard to follow, but you know, there you go. If you couldn't tell, I was kidding about the whole complicated part. And the all mode is, yeah, I'll be honest, I don't hate it. I did kind of not really care for it too much on my first transformation into him, but I've kind of come around to it. It's kind of charming in a way. I could do without these massive gaps. When you look at it from the top, it does kind of, it makes these look more like just arms stuck on the side of him, but it's still not too bad. I mean, it doesn't look anything like a stag beetle, which is what it's supposed to look like, but hey, it is kind of nice looking. You got the pincers right here. I don't even like see any like eyes or anything on it, so yeah. That's probably G1 accurate though. I don't really remember how these guys looked in G1, but Kickback was, you know, very accurate. So, you know, I assume this is also very accurate. And I've heard a lot of G1ers, people who are much bigger like G1 Transformer continuity fans than me say that this is very G1 accurate and that they very much like it. So I will give it a pass personally. I think it's a decent alt mode. Yeah, it does look pretty cool. Now, one thing I do want to point out about him with Kickback is that he is a lot shinier and a lot smoother than Kickback, which I feel was a weird choice because it makes him not go with Kickback as perfectly as they should. Like, all of the purple is kind of brighter on Shrapnel right here. You can see the purple is brighter, and even the black is also a lot glossier, and his is a lot more matted. So I don't know. And also he has all of that gray on him as well, which he has literally got absolutely none of that gray on him. So they don't go together as much as you would like them to. But maybe that's something that will not be as big of a deal once you get Bombshell and you have all 3 of them together. They might go together a lot better if you get all 3 of them in there. So, but yeah, there you have that. There's absolutely no articulation other than the pincers right here. I guess you could move the legs in like that, but not really a thing. And then as for accessory storage, you actually can use these guns right here. And again, they go in the same spot. They go in that same like arm spot right there. But you can plug these in back here, and this will kind of fill out the bug a little bit more, make it look, maybe make it a little bit more substantial, and it kind of gives it a bit more legs right there. It's not completely necessary, and it does also stand up nicer if you do it like this. If you don't have these on, it kind of likes to like wobble. It kind of likes to like wobble back and forth. Like if you just have it like this, it looks like he's like sticking up a little bit more, and he does kind of like to like wobble a little bit. But if you put these on, he has a much flatter like staying position on the ground like there, which is pretty nice. And again, you don't have to parts form these off. You can just kind of rotate them around in the robot mode if you want to. Now, you can also store this gun right here, but I'm about to blow your mind right now. You guys know how I always talk shit on when you just plug the gun on the top right here. Well, you can plug this gun underneath right there, which you would think I would prefer, but honestly, because of the look of this gun, because of like how flat it is, I actually, for once, kind of like the way it looks when you plug it onto the top right there. I don't think it looks too bad because it's nice and flat, and it kind of looks like it integrates a little bit better in my opinion. So I actually don't mind this for once. I don't think it's too bad. So weapon storage is solid in my opinion. I think it is pretty good. There's not really much else to talk about in the alt mode right there. In all honesty, it looks a lot more like a taser than a stag beetle or mechanical stag beetle, but it is a perfectly acceptable alt mode in my opinion. I like it, and the transformation's so brain dead easy and really fun to flip back and forth between them. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a very fun and satisfying little bot. For comparison, here he is with the kickback right there, so you can see how they look together, and there's a nice shot right there. So yeah, there you go. There you have that comparison. I'm not really sure what else to compare this guy with. Here he is with Core Class Swoop, just because I bought them together, so there you have that. And one more, here he is with Point Blank right there. So final thoughts on Legacy Evolution at Shrapnel. I think he's great, honestly. I think he is great. He's just like Kickback, he's not the most extravagant thing in the world. He's not the craziest transformation or the craziest alt mode or an alt mode that, like, in all honesty, the alt mode is like, it's pretty bad, but it's kind of acceptable because of it, and the transformation is really easy, so it's really fun to just like flip in back and forth between the modes, pretty much exactly like Kickback. Like, objectively, the alt mode kind of sucks because it kind of looks like nothing, but in the context of the character, I think the alt mode is charming. The accessories are great. You definitely get a lot of bang for your buck, in my opinion, and the plastic quality is absolutely phenomenal. He is right up there with some of these other, with some of the other modern Legacy Evolution Deluxes, like Prowl and the Origin Jazz up there, that are just really high quality and just feel great in your hand. He is no exception. He feels really great and really fun. I don't think he's worth the scalper price whatsoever, but if you get lucky like me and you find him in a store, I would definitely say grab him. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm very satisfied with this figure. I will say that I can pretty much guarantee this guy has like no chance of getting on like the top 10 of the year list. Like, he's not like that level of an amazing figure, but he is a very fun, very satisfying little bot. And again, don't pay scalper prices for him, but if you find him in the wild, if you get lucky, definitely take that. Definitely take it. I think he is well worth having in your collection, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how Bombshell comes out. Yeah, a fun little bot in my opinion. I'm gonna hit this guy with a nice solid A tier, just a solid A. Thank you all so much for watching. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I gave Gamer Edition Bumblebee an A. So let's go with an A+ on Shrapnel. Well, I don't know. Which do I like more? Gamer Edition, Bumblebee, or Shrapnel? I like Bumblebee more. Let's stick with the A. Let's stick with the A on this guy. I remember I watched a Pro ZG video recently where he was doing the grading thing, and he was like C+, not C+, C+. So let's go with an A+ on Legacy Shrapnel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. And this is DK Guillotine, signing out.